Hey everybody, Tom Kaczynski here from coronaviruscentral.net, and I'm here with today's episode of Mad and Plaid for May 7th, 2020. And here's what has me mad. When I'm looking at all these questions where I see people fighting over should we stay home, keep safe, and not expose ourselves to the coronavirus, or should we rush open to have the economy survive, we're being presented with a false choice that's dividing us against one another, and a few people are getting very rich, and a whole lot of people are getting very poor and hurt, both in terms of health and economy. Think about this for a second. It doesn't do a state a whole lot of good to open up if you open all these stores where you only allow them to have half the amount of customers or less because of social distancing, but you're requiring them to pay 100% of the taxes, 100% of the rent, 100% of the utilities, and 100% of the normal costs at a time when at least half the people are dead set not on going out there. It doesn't sound very smart. It sounds like to me the triumph of ideology over the practical policy that would help people. And what we see is really interesting. The loans with the most strings attached to it go to the people at the bottom, the small businessman who's out there operating a restaurant. So when you look at the service sector getting hit, and you look at those malls that are open in Texas and Georgia where no one's going out there to go do their shopping, you start to realize that as people are going around protesting, saying they want things to open up and they want life to go back to normal, they are living in fantasy world. And I get mad when people get hurt because they follow fantasy over reality. The reality is we live in a dangerous time with a danger that is unknown in this virus. We know that a lot of people have got hurt and gotten sick. We know people are having problems 30, 60 days after infection, and we don't know what it means for the future, and a lot of people are choosing to stay home and stay safe. I understand if you're not one of those people, and I understand if you're frustrated. I'm frustrated too. I'm frustrated at a government that made a series of policy decisions where they decided to take care of a very few people and create the illusion of being able to handle a problem instead of doing so. Here's a news flash. Here's how you keep businesses afloat. You're going to need to do something to control debts because people will go out of control otherwise. You're also going to have to recognize that small businesses cannot open up and have anything but an ending of bankruptcy if you force them to sell in this environment. It's going to take patience, it's going to take working together, and it's going to take both parties acting like they're human beings instead of the zoo animals that represent them. In an election year, I do not expect that, and unfortunately, that has me very mad this year because I agree with the people who want to see our rights protected, our businesses reopen, and people succeed again. But you can't do it right now, and trying to do so is a recipe for failure. And I agree even more with the people who want to stay home and be healthy. That's what we do every day. We talk about that on Coronavirus Central. We tell the stories that other people won't, and we give good advice out there where we go ahead and call the people who are responsible. Remember, you're not fighting against your fellow citizens. You're fighting against two forces. You're fighting against a virus that doesn't care about what any of us want, that we don't understand, and that increasingly looks likely to be of artificial construction. And you're fighting against a government that's willing to use you and discard you at a moment's notice if it lets them stay in control. And whether you live in the United States or any other country, that fact remains true. Do not go along with that. A new world is coming. You have a choice about how you're going to live in it, but only if you think instead of acting. God bless. Have a good day. I'm Tom Kaczynski.